that time has put the nation in more mess economically. And therefore, because of the current economic situation we have found ourselves, that there is need for us to look at the details and to know whether they were rightly spent. But then there is somebody that must make a statement on this issue. Senate President Emeritus, dismissed Senator A.lawal, just say a word so that we can go into the next issue.
Nobody in this chamber should suggest that we shouldn't look to anything that we feel is in the public interest. But let me say this very clearly. What Nigerians want today is food. What Nigerians want today is food and security. This belongs to the medium term or long term action that we need to take. How are we going to provide food for Nigerians and protect their lives tomorrow or from today? This report,
right of approval only. It doesn't have the right when money has been spent for you to rectify. We don't have the right to rectify. We only have the right to approve. Check the constitution.
Senator Goje.
Thank you, Mr. President. So that Nigerians will know what has happened, and it is in your own interest, in the interest of Nigeria, that these things, these facts are made available, and if need be, the actors should be at the consequences of their action. We shouldn't protect anybody. We're in a very serious situation in this country now. Mr. President, don't waste time. Please set up this committee to investigate this issue.
Paul, there is nothing that the National Assembly that makes laws on them that cannot look at them and consider them. If there were expenditures wrongly done in contradiction to the provisions of the Constitution, the National Assembly can look at the expenditures, and if sanctions are needed for unlawful or wrong or unauthorized expenditures, the National Assembly can provide the sanctions. That is one. Secondly, Mr. President, what the 9th National Assembly approved or ratified in terms of ways and means was not 29 or 30 trillion. It was 22, but there was 819 billion to attend to deal and address very serious infrastructural dilapidations that we had across the country. So it was not 30 trillion. It was 22, and then of course the one we had made it almost 23. So if we have a ways and means that is 30 today, that means something happened between then and now, and it's for the National Assembly to find out what happened. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, nobody in this chamber should suggest that we shouldn't look to anything that we feel is in the public interest. But let me say this very clearly. What Nigerians want today is food. What Nigerians want today is food and security. This belongs to the medium term or long term action that we need to take. How are we going to provide food for Nigerians and protect their lives tomorrow or from today? This report talks about it. Mr. President, let's not put the cart before the horse. Let's consider it necessary to look at what happened in the past. But we are in the present, and the present is so unpleasant. And we have to work to act very, very swiftly. Thank you very much.
I think
thoroughly. The easiest thing you do is set up this committee to interrogate this issue, because there should be no holds barred. Everything should be made available. Everything should come to the light so that Nigerians will know what has happened. And it is in your own interest, in the and the interest of Nigeria, that these things, these facts are made available. And if need be, the actors should be at the consequences of their action. We shouldn't protect anybody. We are in a very serious situation in this country now. Mr. President, don't waste time. Please set up this committee to investigate this issue. Thank you.
Initiated by the former Senate leader. Mr. President, you have mentioned now, we are in one of the most difficult situations in this country. And the essence constitutionally of having a Senate is to provide stability in circumstances like this. We have people that know better than some of these people that are holding forth for the government now.
Quicker resolution mechanism instead of the securitization for 40 years. And from the way the discussion has come up now, this clarification introduced by DSP has now made that provision very imprecise. If some people spent money before bringing it to the parliament for approval or appropriation, where did they get the money they spent? Because they spent money and they came here to look for approval over money they have spent. Now it's not an obligation again. It is classified as obligation, 30 trillion. This debt overhang, Mr. President, is responsible for the problems we're having. This 30 trillion debt overhang, which nobody says he knows the detail, how they spent that money. Outside 809 something billion, which this parliament, this Senate approved. 800 something billion, they approved. So about 20 something trillion, they knew nothing about it. They didn't know how the money was spent, what it was spent on. And we are carrying it on. So the committee recommended that there should be, the liquidation of that 30 trillion should be prioritized. Liquidation should be prioritized. It means that we should be able to take care of it through quicker resolution mechanism. So they didn't say what this quicker resolution mechanism will be. They didn't say it.
This is Senator Ome. Let me guide. If you
they legalize the 22 billion trillion that was given to us for the waste, it means we pass that one. But it doesn't mean we cannot investigate. We ask for details, details were not given to us, so we can investigate how the money was spent. It's our own right. But we have already legalized the spending by passing. No, we have legalized it by passing in this Senate. But we can still investigate. And that's what we are saying. But I think, Mr. President, since I am on my feet, protect me, Mr. President. Since we have almost agreed that we are going to set up a committee, all those details will be done at the committee level. So let's go ahead and set up a committee to investigate all those things. Details will be brought out by the ad hoc committee.
I think I agree with you.
On food security, because whatever, like you said, Mr. President, no matter what we do, if we are not able to put food on the table of Nigerians, then the whole essence of leadership that we are all part of at different and various levels will be defeated. So I recommend that private sector players that are into agro-allied businesses should be allowed to import food items to a certain period so as to be able to balance. And I appeal to Nigerians. I appeal to Nigerians in the name of God that created all of us and gave us the different various privileges he's giving us. Those of us that are hoarding food items should please bring them out for the sake of humanity. Because the Lord says, for whoever adds value to humanity adds to him. That is just for you to understand the magnitude of reward that comes along with adding value to humanity. Otherwise, what value would you add to God?